right, next up, we have right here at the desk on the plaza is Owen Butler, the executive director of First State Squash. Owen, how are you?
Great. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, man, it's our pleasure.
Yes, good morning, Owen.
Good morning.
Well, Owen, I know that Ivan knows all about the organization. I'm brand new to it, and I'm sure there are many listeners and viewers that never heard of First State Squash. So I know you're the executive director. Would you tell us a little bit more about what is First State Squash and your role there?
Yeah, so I'm the executive director, and First State Squash, we're an after-school program that provides tuition-free academic programming, instruction in the sport of squash, and enrichment opportunities to Newcastle County youth. Generally, students are recruited in 5th grade from a variety of our Title I partner schools in downtown Wilmington, public and charter, with the intention of them remaining team members to and through college graduation and then entry into the workforce.
Excellent.
And so during the school year and for about 5 weeks in the summer, students come to us about 3 days a week or so, and they receive an hour of squash instruction, an hour of academic support, and that kind of ranges based on what grades they're in, and a healthy snack.
I love it. And when I mean I love it, I literally love it. Again, about 2 years ago, I think when you opened up about 2 years ago, wasn't it?
So the program was founded in 2016.
Okay.
We were very fortunate to partner alongside the Central YMCA and rent their hardball singles courts and racquetball courts.
Yeah.
Without them, we wouldn't be here today. But we moved into our new squash facility 2 years ago or so on the riverfront.
And the new squash facility is amazing. If you never went to see it, you know what, Vincenz, I think we need to go play squash.
See, I love how you're saying that line. So can you explain that to me? Like
What squash is?
Yeah, no, like let's go play squash. So tell me how, why you use it that way, and how could we go partake in it.
So squash, for people that don't know, squash is a little bit of like racquetball.
Yep.
Right?
Okay.
And I didn't know what it was. And so it was brought to me from Aaron Bass, right? And he was like, look, we have a program.
Aaron.
Yeah, gotta love Aaron.
I love Aaron.
Go
Shout out
Birds.
to Aaron.
So Aaron is the executive director, the head of school over at Eastside Charter.
Eastside Charter.
And so we moved Madison from one school to Eastside Charter. And in that, Madison's 5th grade. And he's like, look, you have to play squash. You have to play it. Like, it's great. And I'm like, what the hell is squash?
Right.
Like, I know nothing. Again, I went to my first Flyers game. Right? Know nothing about ice hockey, and I knew nothing about squash. But, Maddie went, and we signed her up, so she went, and she was like, oh my God, I'm having a good time. Now, everywhere we go, right? Everywhere we go, there is a squash tournament. New York, squash tournament. Philadelphia yesterday, squash tournament. And Maddie was so excited to see it because she's a part of it. The after school enrichment is helping her with her grades. She's an A and B student. So if you're a student, if you're a parent, learn about squash, call Owen. That's the plug.
Right. So clearly it's very beneficial because you're experiencing it firsthand with Maddie.
Yeah.
So let's, go back to how can one find out more information or enroll or sign up?
So we have a recruitment process at the beginning of each school year, generally in the fall, and we go around to our partner schools, the likes of Coomba Academy, Eastside Charter, Thomas Edison Charter, Nativity Prep, Bayard Middle, and we'll introduce students to the sport of squash in gym classes. So we hit squash balls up against the gym wall, have them learn a little bit about the sport, and then on top of that, introduce them to the opportunities that will be available to them through the program. From there, we have about a 2-month tryout process. For us, recruitment isn't based on athletic ability or academic ability. We're really looking for kind students that want to be a part of a positive community. And are committed to First State Squash. We ask a really big commitment of our students, 3 days a week throughout the majority of the school year, 5 weeks in the summer. It's a big commitment for our students and their families. So we take those 2 months to really get to know the students, really get to know the families, make sure they get to know us as well. And then from there, we usually take about 25 to 30 students or so from those kind of partner schools that we've identified.
Now, what is the success rate? Can you let the people know, like they come with you and you said you follow them all the way to college? What's that success rate?
So First State Squash, we're much younger. So our oldest students are in 10th and 11th grade. So they're getting to that kind of college access, workforce access moment in their lives. For myself, though, I used to work for one of our sister programs. First State Squash were 25 other programs across the country, same models, recruit students in elementary ages and then work alongside them to and through college graduation. So I had the opportunity to work for a sister program in New Haven, Connecticut for 4 years. We had about 100 students in 5th through 12th grade, an additional 25 in college. So there's tremendous success rate in not just supporting students gain access to college, but persist through college and then enter the workforce as well.
Wow. So again, still learning so much about this organization.
Right, she had the look on her face.
Yes, you would think, and I was saying to Owen before we started filming today that, I'm very rooted in the state of Delaware, and I feel that I know so many people and organizations, but I'm always learning something new.
Yeah.
And I never heard of First State Squash.
Yeah, I never heard of squash.
Right.
I was like, they're playing what? I thought you eat it.
I thought you eat it. So let's go into more detail about it. So kind of paint that picture. So I enroll my child. What happens? What's the curriculum like? What's the activities like? What is the interaction like? Paint that picture for us.
Yeah, so we have 4 full-time staff, myself included. Students come to us about 3 days a week. We pick them up from their schools.
Okay.
So if you see a First State Squash van driving around, it's one of us.
Transportation provided.
Yeah.
Big.
And so we go pick our students up. They'll enter the program 5th and 6th grade. Like I said, they get the hour of squash instruction. It's a lot of beginner lessons to make sure students get those kind of core foundation techniques.
Yeah.
And then our academic supports, like I said, range based on what grade they're in. So our 5th and 6th grade students, we're doing some literacy-based enrichment, making sure students are just reading and writing more. We feel like those are such critical skills that you need in any sort of profession. As they enter kind of 7th and 8th grade, it starts looking at the different high school opportunities that'll be available to them and their families.
Yeah.
I come from Toronto, and I had an option of like 2 public schools that were walking distance from me, but in Delaware, there's so many opportunities that are available to you. And so making sure students and families are well informed of those opportunities. Yeah. And now we're starting to kind of get into that kind of career readiness and workforce readiness programming, making sure students are taking advantage of their summers, building those resumes so that their college applications look really strong.
How are these kids, or do they appreciate squash now? Because a lot of these kids, they never heard of it either. Coming from the inner city, there's a lot of inner city kids that attend there. How, since I know they were probably skeptical at first, but how are they now?
We've got such a great community, and our oldest students are such dynamic leaders for the program.
Wow.
And so I feel like a lot of our younger students have watched our older students go through the program and become very exceptional squash players and take a lot from them. And it's amazing. We have our own facility, and our students take full ownership of it. And so when you walk in the First State Squash facility any day after school, the place is absolutely buzzing. So much enthusiasm on the squash court. Kids just jumping. They get there, immediately jumping on the squash courts, hitting squash balls before practice. And thanks to the access to the facility, we can do that. So we've been really fortunate.
Yeah. The one thing that I love about it is the after school, like they can help the kids with their homework. And then they get into it. So it's definitely a plus.
Excellent. Seems that, you're able to provide that additional support. There's so many organizations out there that are predominantly just focusing on tutoring and just staying in that one room, which is still good. And some students need that type of structure. But it seems like this is an innovative way of learning or continuing to learn and continuing to stay focused. And also outside of the school environment, so it's fun, which I think it's great, and another opportunity for students like Maddie's age to make new friends in a different environment. So that's always very healthy and very good, and I call it like networking at a young age, right?
Right.
Networking at a younger age.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I think what makes us unique too is we have students in 5th grade through 10th grade that are in the program and in the same facility at any point in time. So we have our student Riley, who works for First State Squash through the Newcastle County Youth Workforce Program on Thursdays. And the other day, the 5th grade students were fighting over who got to work with her to do their math homework together. And so I love the fact that we have those kind of different relationships being formed across grades, different relationships across schools in Wilmington. And then the sport is utilized really for us as a tool to create these long-term relationships with students and families. And I think that's the big piece of our organization that we really enjoy, and I think staff really enjoy as well too.
Can you dive into that a little bit more, just the sport part of it? I'm still learning more about it, and I'm very intrigued. So how do you, I guess, play?
How you play?
Yeah, how do you play?
So very similar to racquetball.
Okay.
You got two people kind of in a box. Tiny rubber ball, and the objective is to hit the ball away from your opponent. There's various outlines, so the ball has to be kept in a certain area of play, which kind of allows the rallies to go on a little bit longer. And
is it a team sport?
It is not.
Okay.
So it's an individual sport.
Okay.
I will say, though, what I love about First State Squash is we identify as one big team.
Right, right.
And so we compete at various high school events as the First State Squash team. And I really missed out on that opportunity when I was going through playing squash. It was my dad and me, and we were just running around. But when I got to college, I was a part of a team, and I felt like my match mattered something, and we try and really replicate that at First State Squash, and I think it brings people together as well.
I guess you would say a little friendly competition is always healthy to experience and expose young children to if maybe they're not involved in sports on an everyday basis. I mean, I'm a firm believer in you should expose your child to some type of sport, whether it's a team sport, individual sport, but it's always healthy because I think it prepares them for life.
Right.
You're not always going to win. Right. Sometimes you're going to lose, and that's okay too. And how do you learn from it? Yep. And how do you grow from it? So that's really amazing that you're able to expose young children to this type of environment while learning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very impactful.
And that's the word, the transition word, impact.
Yes.
Right. As a nonprofit, what is your impact for squash, First State Squash, that you're making?
I think number one, we're just trying to be a consistent force in the lives of our students and families, trying to advocate for them, make sure that education is first and foremost, and they're well informed of the various educational opportunities that will be available to them, like now, down the road.
Right.
And again, using the sport of squash, I think squash is unique. It's very physically demanding, so making sure students are engaged in physical activity on a consistent basis, I think, is really important to us. And then staff dedicate so much of their lives to making sure that our students are well supported and they're loved for and cared for, and I think that's really important as well too.
Amazing.
I'm ready. You ready?
Owen, yeah, I know, right? Are we going to sign up?
Yeah,
well, we're not allowed. We aged out.
We aged out of the education.
Aged out, but
after school, they're gonna come pick us up in the bus.
Right. Could you share the website and how someone may find out more information and sign up? Share with our viewers and listeners the website.
Absolutely. So firststatesquash.org. My information's up there, information about the programs up there, and like I said, we usually do our recruitment from our various partner schools in the fall, and are just very fortunate and grateful to be a part of the Wilmington community. I've had the chance, like as you mentioned, to meet some incredible individuals, and those individuals contribute in a variety of ways to First State Squash, and so we're so well supported and owe a lot to the Wilmington community for us to kind of get the program off the ground and to be where we are today.
I love the program.
Yes.
I vouch for the program.
Yes, you do.
I
First-hand experience right here.
Yeah, I watched my daughter change.
That's right.
Like I love it. Look, Owen, thank you so much for coming by, man. I really appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate it.
That's
Yes,
your
thank
camera.
you.
Which one is his camera? That one right there, next to Vincenzo. Go ahead. You got 30 seconds. That's a First State Squash commercial.
First State Squash commercial. Oh, wow. Well, no, again, as I mentioned earlier, we're so grateful. There's so many people out there that have made First State Squash possible, from our sister programs that have shown us the way, to all the thoughtful people that put us in a position, Governor Carney, the First State Squash Board, that put us in a position to purchase the facility so that our students now have a home that they can go to 5 days a week. And so we're forever grateful to Wilmington, the Central YMCA, for giving us a platform to start. I mean, there's just so many people, the partner schools that we work with, for allowing us to enter their gym classes, work with their students. I'm overfilled with gratitude, for sure.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Thank you,
That's what
Owen.
it is.
We
Thanks,
appreciate
Owen.
you joining us, and good luck. And keep us posted on how the program is growing throughout obviously Wilmington, but also maybe the state of Delaware.
Thank you so much.
And we'll see you soon.
I will see you at pickup.
I'm gonna be out there with my little ABA shorts. Remember the ABA shorts from like
Oh,
some knee-high socks with the rings going around? Yeah, I'm like from like the 70s.
okay.
You too.
Rock them. All
You
right,
too.
right with you. I got you. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break while we talk about this wardrobe. And we'll be right back with Roy Bernard. So don't go anywhere.